Hey, good evening, everybody. Check. Let's go ahead and get started. Yeah, how you got it? You got it? Check. Thanks, Brother Robinson. I appreciate it. Good evening, and welcome to Westwood, home of the Eagles. Special place. I don't see their past principal there, but I'm going to acknowledge the current one here. Myra Baker, how are you? Yes, Principal of Westwood. Thank you. Thank you for the hospitality. I went to school here, and that was almost 50 years ago. And I used to walk here. I had to go, my parents forced me to go to summer school here. My school was Jane Addams, and they forced me to go to summer school here. Not because I had failed something, because I was a little kid. Nobody failed then. But they wanted me out of the house for the summer, so I would walk here to summer school. So Westwood has a special place for me. Every time I come here, I think about the summer I lost to summer school. And I can't get it back. So let me acknowledge the principals that are here. Deidre Kelly, I see you. Bill Hay. I'm still working on my lunch duty. Brooke Goodwine, Fairview. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Where is Thurman Sampson? Roosevelt. Mr. Sampson, it's been a theme. I got a text message from somebody saying they were tired of hearing about our fraternity stuff, but I want to acknowledge that you and I are indeed fraternity brothers, members of Alpha Phi. Thank you. There's another one there, and another one, another one. We'll get you together. Where's Alex Robinson? Kaiser, we appreciate you coming out. My man Brian Erskard, Ruskin. Dale Robinson, assistant principal at Westwood. And we have lots of staff out from those buildings, from different buildings too, and some from this building. And we have our administrative team here. And where is Nicole? President and CEO of Urban League. Am I adding titles?
You're adding titles. This is exactly correct.
Really important. And of course, I want to thank my board members for coming out. Brother Walker, I appreciate you. Go Blue. Karen Wick Gagnet, and board member Jocelyn Rhynard. Thank you so much. It's exciting to have board members out today. So one of the criticisms of these events, no, not criticisms, observations is that, hey, you get community figures out who are already connected to other organizations. Hey, you get your own staff out, they gotta come. I mean, not really. Hey, you get some of the same committed people out, but you don't get the community out. And so we're just gonna keep pushing, keep showing up, keep getting out here until we can just get more and more people, and we can get critical mass. But we have technology now, and our team is here. We have other people who are here who are streaming this as well. And people will get an opportunity to see the conversation that we have going forward. So this is the third of the Academic Action Plan series, but it's the 7th time we've been out in the community. This is what we do. This is what we do. We queue it up, come out to the community and tell you the story, and we man up and take questions, and then we move forward and try to get better. So with that, we're gonna get started. Academic Action Plan for All. All is capitalized. Language means something. I want to thank Associate Superintendent Minor for that. She said all. I can hear it in the meeting. All, and it's capitalized. That means everyone. Every single child. Students with disabilities, students in high school, students in middle school, where we're really struggling, but we're getting on top of that. Students who are in group homes, students who are homeless. We have them all. All means every last single one of them, and we mean it. And we think about it and we talk about it. This is really what guides the day-to-day work that we do. When something doesn't go right, we usually refer back to it and say, you know what? This is a snafu in our 5 C's. Lisa, Maya, and I were in a meeting this morning, and it was full of communication and collaboration gaps, right? I mean, full of it. And we're going to circle back and fix that. I mean, anytime we see something go south, we go, man, how does this relate to the 5 C's? And we identify it, and then we move on it. It's one thing to identify something, but once you identify it, you have to intervene. That's the hard part, the intervention. And then the intervention with fidelity. You have to repeat it over and over and over. You have to monitor it over and over and over. And that's one thing we're pretty good at, monitoring and giving feedback and providing intervention, and we're just going to continue to try to get better. I say this every time we do this presentation. This is my favorite video in the 28 years that I've been around Dayton Public Schools. Alex, you and your team really outdid yourself. I saw the metrics on it. Lots of people like click on it and view it and see it. And I want to start off with it because it really represents where we want to go, but also where we are now too. If anybody is watching this, you can tell we have some amazingly dynamic, smart, wonderful kids in Dayton Public Schools. Tell me why you're in Dayton Public Schools.
I like going to E.J. Brown because of the staff. I love
like
the
that.
staff.
Yeah, you got a new principal. He is good.
Mm-hmm.
He walks around a lot, checks on you guys. I like him.
I want to be a robotics engineer. I want to take that to college and do great things with it.
How'd you come up with that?
I'm in a pathway called advanced manufacturing, and I'm taking that currently.
So your exposure or your experience in advanced manufacturing got you start thinking about, hey, this is the field I want to go into.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Awesome.
I like going to Belmont because I like the people and I like the teachers and I like the staff and especially like the principal, Miss McDowell.
I want to go to Dayton Public Schools because I feel like every single teacher in Dayton Public Schools are really appreciated of the students that they have and show a lot of love to them.
Mm-hmm.
What I like most about the district is all of the opportunities that they have, such as DPS University, where you can earn college credits while you're still in high school. The staff is really welcoming and they're always pushing you to do your best in whatever you do.
I'm looking forward to getting some of my college credits already out of the way before I go to college. I have a lot of favorite staff members, but the one who I would say influences me the most is most likely Miss Mo, because she just stays on top of everyone and she makes sure that you're doing well and having a good day and stuff like that.
I'm thinking of studying law and becoming a lawyer because I don't really like the laws we have now. So I'd like to maybe change them.
I like it. So you want to be an advocate?
Yes.
DeAndre?
I've thought about being a realtor. I always wanted to
What?
get rid of that. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, I've never heard a kid say that.
I wanted to get rid of the whole bunch of empty vacant houses around my neighborhood, feel me? It just seemed like a good thing to do because it just make the neighborhood look bad. Even though it's good people around there, it just make my neighborhood look bad.
The whole staff and administration helped me get through my sophomore year all the way to my senior year.
King, I appreciate you sharing that space where you said that you had some adversity, you know, and that this hasn't always been an easy road, and there was a whole family that wrapped their arms around you. I want you to know how much we in Dayton Public Schools are proud of you, first of all, and how much we wish you the best in the future. And we hope that you stay in touch with us so we're able to talk about what a graduate looks like as they move out into the world and do things other than high school. Again, Alex, thanks. Amazing work. Hey, I forgot something to start off by saying. I talked about my summer school journey here, but we talked about the 5 C's. Culture is a big one for us. And I am just a kid from Dayton who's trying to come back and give back to this community where I grew up, played basketball, ran track, football as a teacher. This is one of my students right there. Just trying to make things great again. Dayton Public Schools used to be great for those of you who are not from here. Yeah, we were not the butt of jokes. We were not talked about as a place that's a negative place. I remember that. I'm a kid from Dayton that remembers that. I remember our greatness. And we are determined to get back there. In fact, I think we're on our way with the culture. Data can be numbers and it can also be stories. We were out the last 2 days in high schools speaking to all the government teachers. We would be the chief academic officer, T.R. McGee, Makisha Sheehy, and I made 3 or 4 of them. And the teachers said to us, we thought we were in trouble. 2 things. You should never be afraid of the leader. I should be inspirational. I'm gonna say it again. You should never be afraid of the leader. I should be inspirational. The second thing they said was, not only has no one ever come out, but you sat and listened. We didn't have an agenda other than give us information about how we can get better. Where are our gaps with our oldest students so we can trace it back to the youngest ones? So we're trying to change the culture. We're trying to change the culture. Key partnerships. Central Services, that's another one of my team members. They made that up. We no longer call it Central Office. Central Office, for those of you who are not steeped in education, it's a place in all districts all across the country where people say that that's where they are, the they. And the they are everybody who are not principals and teachers and work in operations and custodians and food service. The they are those people at Central Office. And we have done a lot of research on Central Office transformation, and we didn't want to be called they. We didn't want to be that they. We said we're going to provide a service for the people who are out in the field, which are the 2,400 employees in this district. So part of our partnership is to partner with the district itself so that we're not the they. So people say, we see them. You can put your hands on them. You can touch them. You can ask them questions. They listen. We listen to building leadership. We spend a lot of time with principals. They spend more time in these buildings than we do. They know their buildings. They know how to make a move when they're given the autonomy. It is lazy to tell everybody to do the same thing. It is intellectually lazy. We don't want to do that. We want to release principals to be great so they can release teachers to be great. Every one of these principals that's in here tonight, the sitting principals will tell you that all of their buildings are different. Every single one of them is different. There can be no one size fit all. Now there are some things that have to be tight. That means that we all have to do. Like come to work. We all gotta do that. All gotta come to work. But there are some other things that can be loose, that are by the building, and we want to allow our leaders to make those decisions. Because there are teachers in here that are different in each building, and kids are different. It's called differentiated learning. It's also called differentiated leadership. And we believe in that. And one of the reasons we believe in that is almost everything we do is built from some type of empirical research or literature. That means some type of thing that we've read about that other people have vetted to say that this is scientifically correct. This cabinet that surrounds me, they were built because I read a lot of research that said the more principles you have on cabinet, the closer the they get to the people. So there are 7 principals on cabinet. There are 12 people on cabinet. There are 7 of us that were principals. 7. Maybe count me 8. So we get it. We have lived this life. We don't have to extrapolate about it. We don't have to hypothesize about it. We get it. We've been there with the custodian, and we've left with the night custodian. We walked in the building with nutrition services, walked out, clearing the last kid at the basketball game. We've all been in difficult parent conferences where parents have gotten upset with us. and said all types of things that you cannot take personal and you just have to move on. And we've been in difficult conversations with teachers and other support personnel. The people who surround me, they were built to do this by doing the work. And so in doing so, we said, hey, we're going to be able to connect with principals. We have some street cred, so to speak. And then we want principals to be able to push down the teachers and say, hey, they gave us the autonomy to be great as principals. We're going to give it to you as teachers. I want to recognize Brother Simmons from Waltham. Welcome. Principal, welcome. So, yes, yeah, so we want to give you an opportunity as teachers to be great. And then after that, we want teachers to say, you know what? I went to school to do this work at a really high level. I'm trained to do this. And then that central services place, they provide support for me to get even better so that then I can make students great. Yeah, we're all a partner in this. And then finally, we can't get this done without families. When I was a teacher, from the time I was a teacher, did I come to your house? That's right. From the time I was a teacher until I ended my principal career, I've conducted over 500 home visits. Here I am. Let's talk about homework and why it's not getting done. Here I am. Let's talk about recess, why you can't keep your hand off somebody. I've been knocking on doors for years, and every single time it works. The parents respond. Every single time it works. So this idea that parents and families don't care, it is deficit thinking and it's wrong. We can say they don't know because maybe we haven't called them. We haven't texted them because they take text messages now. We haven't emailed them on a regular basis and we haven't gone by. No, parents care. Grandparents care. Aunts and uncles care. I don't know anybody that gets up in the morning and says, you know what, I want my child to be a failure. Nobody does that. It's incumbent upon us, though, in this partnership to make sure that we're also giving parents tools to be able to fill the gaps that they may or may not know how to do with their children. We're the educators. We're supposed to help with education at home, too. In fact, where's Chief Sheehy? She sent something home during the break, which were links for kids to click on to do work, and that was one of our most watched. Yeah, it was one of our most clicked social media posts. The piece we sent home to say to parents, hey, this is what your kids can do during the Christmas break. That's our job. We didn't just say, hey, you all figure it out. Have them go read. No, we are the pros at this. We gave detailed instructions on what we wanted to see kids do while they were off for Christmas break. That's our job. And the reason we thought about it is we think about ourselves as providing support for the entire community. I've talked about this at great length. Just to summarize it, is that we're in buildings every day. That's what that means. We're in buildings every day. I spent today at Dunbar, yesterday at Dunbar, E.J. Brown, Meadowdale. You lose track, and we are in buildings to provide support. That's really what all that means. And that while we're there, we try to figure out ways to collect, analyze, and share data to get better. Not to punish people. We do not collect data to punish people. This is not a punitive administration. It is one that uses data to help you diagnose, and then help you try to put a plan together to predict where we want to go. Building leadership, I have a special place in my heart for that. I know it says building leadership, but it's led by the principal. Each building has a building leadership team, and they've been over the academic action plan, they shared it with their staff, and they work with us to find out where there are gaps in it. That plan is written on paper, the principals and their teams help us execute it, and it's executed in some places better than others, and that's okay. Teachers, the exact same thing. They're part of our professional learning communities that we've instituted this year. They're working in some places, and I was just at Belmont the other day. A social studies teacher told me it's not working in our space. We said no problem. We'll work to fix it. That's it. Not punishing, not punitive. Just let's get it fixed. Families. You know, we just had a board presentation on attendance. For the elementary side, nothing but love, all green, you all are killing it. Middle school and high school, we had a little bit of red, that means we're struggling a little bit. But there was a lot of green in the middle school and high school too. So for parents, it's about us giving you resources so that you can follow up at home, and then also making school engaging so that you want to send kids to school, because attendance matters. And chronic absenteeism is down about 800 school days. But really what's important is that I think it's down because transportation is picking people up. That's one. And two, I think we're making school more interesting this year. We're on record pace for field trips, and we're already planning for next year. We want school to be a place that is fun, that you want to come and be at. I don't know anybody that says, I can't wait to get to school because we're going to write and read for 7 straight hours. I can't wait. I cannot wait to get there. No one does it. This is a lunchroom where we've had thousands of hours of lunch duty, right, principals? And we see kids in here talking, interacting, eating, having fun, touching and hitting each other when they shouldn't. Yeah, this is a social place here. Recess out there, that matters. Recess matters. Being here and being engaged and being able to think about something else other than school matters. These are not robots. They're children. And our families, we want you to put you in a space where when your child gets up in the morning, they want to come here so that they can help us work on the academic action plan. And in fact, I sent your children a video. Like, I talked about the action plan like in kid terms, and I think or hope they understood it. These are the things we're doing in buildings to get better. My favorite one probably is high quality professional development. We've got a team that's out, and those are really teacher terms, educator terms for we're talking about how to get better. And after we talk about it, then we go read about it. And if we read about it, we go see if we do it, and then we repeat it all over again. Yeah, that really is at the core of how we can get better. You have to do 3 things to get better in school as it relates to academic outcomes. You have to raise the level and knowledge and understanding of school of the teacher. That's 1. You have to raise the level of instruction. That's 2. And those 2 together, you have to raise the level and difficulty and applicability of whatever the accountability and assessment measure is. Whatever that activity, assignment, or assessment is. There are only 3 ways to get better in school. We know this from science. And so that's a really small number of things. And so you'd ask yourself, why aren't we getting better? And that's because sometimes we focus on all this other stuff. There's only 3 ways, that's it. That's it. It's called the instructional core. Richard Elmore, bless his soul, he's no longer here anymore, professor emeritus at Harvard University. There's only 3 ways. So I love the professional development component, but those are all the things we're doing to try to be great again. Metrics. Regular presentations to the Board of Education and community on progress. We as a team, this administration, we always submit an academic presentation in conjunction with the board. Our goal is always to give you academics and then some other component. And so you'll see somebody come to the stage. Her name is Mindy Clark. She's amazing. She's part of our team. And she goes and she typically gives you the data. And we talk about it before she goes up and we have a conversation around it. And our position is we're going to give it to you whether it's good or not. Now in our case, it just so happens, almost all of us have been great. But that may not always be the case. What I want you to know is a matter of transparency, we're always going to give it to you. So she comes up and gives you the data, and it typically is followed by how we did what we did. So it's one thing to say, hey, look at that data, they got better. Well, then the next question is, how'd you do it? So, speaking of which, we don't have any 8th grade math OST results back yet, but our Hanover data tells us that we're on track to surpass that 10.5% that we were at last year. We know from OST that we've already surpassed last year's 3rd grade reading and year-to-year, fall, and then we're actually on track for a significant improvement. And then attendance, based on chronic attendance, and the principals and their attendance teams, we are tracking toward a relatively significant improvement. Again, tracking, we just keep tracking it. Back to the attendance team, back to the principals, back to the schools. How are we doing? If we're not doing well, how do we fix it? That was almost a workman's comp. Culture and climate. We have a survey. Do we have those results back yet, Lisa? Do we have those culture and climate results back yet? 22nd of January, we'll have the culture and climate results back. We'll be back out on tour, and we'll show you what they are. 3rd grade reading guarantee. We've already presented at the board meeting around 3rd grade reading in the fall. There are 16 elementary schools. 14 of them showed progress. There were several who showed significant progress. I would like to, and this is not at the expense of any other elementary principal, I would like to acknowledge Brian Erskard and Ruskin, who led the district in 3rd grade reading improvement. Year over year, it was a significant improvement, about 17%, right? Yeah. I'll let East End know that. We'll talk about that. High school readiness. We are in the midst of preparing for the high school summer bridge program for the 8th graders. They're going to be excited. Teachers are going to be excited. The principals are going to be excited. We're going to be excited. And the parents are going to be excited because it's going to be at least a week where the kids are going to be gone with us. And they'll be preparing to get ready for high school, and we're excited about that. So we continue to work through that process. Freshman success, we just had a presentation about that yesterday, 2 days ago. And we are tracking toward a significant increase in freshmen who are matriculated to become sophomores. And you know the drill. If you are a freshman, then you have to be a sophomore, so you can be a junior, so that you can be a senior, so that you can do that. And so this is not where it starts. For us, actually, it starts in middle school, and that's another presentation for another day around how we're planning for next year for middle school. But we're aware that this really starts in middle school, and we had a significant discussion in our academic team meeting on Monday about middle school. Not that we hadn't before, but it's really dedicated to middle school that particular day as we prepare for 2024-25. Those green checks, these are things that we are doing. So it's a plan, and we're reporting to the community about how well we're doing. So you see checks for attendance clerks increase. You see intervention teams from 2 to 3 members. Actually, we have 4, don't we? Yeah, so we need to fix it. We have 4 now. Building-based attendance teams and coaches done. Restorative practices and launch of Leadership Academy. We have some other work to do. We hope that when we come back to present to you in we probably won't be back until probably April, maybe late April. OST will be going on. When's OST in elementary principals? When's it end? End of when? End of April? Yeah, we'll come back. We'll figure out a day to come back. It won't be in January, it won't be February. March is testing too, right? We'll figure it out. We'll be back though. We'll be back to report on this. Oh, we talked about chronic absenteeism. That was presented 2 days ago. The difference, minus is good. And so we're trending and tracking back toward 2019. We just have to keep pushing with our attendance teams in the building, with our principals and teams, and make sure that transportation stays tight, and make sure we stay engaged with kids, and hopefully that number will continue to go down more. And hopefully we'll not just get back to 2019, which is pre-pandemic. That's not our goal. We don't talk like pre-pandemic. We just talk about being great. You want to see that number at 0. That's the goal. We might not get there, but that's the goal. We're still working on third grade reading. I thought we had more checks in there. Yeah, we're still working. What about the science and reading training for pre-K 8 teachers? I thought we did that. Okay, gotcha. Associate Superintendent Rhynard's keeping me. I'm trying to cheat, and she said no cheating. No cheating. I'm like, you sure? No, David, not all. I'm trying. Yeah, so we have a couple checks there. When we come back, we'll have some more. Here's the third grade reading data I was talking about. Fall of 2018, that's pre-pandemic. 14.75. Fall of 2022, 15.77. And fall of 23, 22.95. I think this is important to denote that those 2018 is before the pandemic, okay? That's not a good number. That was before the pandemic. We started, I was named the interim in July. I didn't get the team on board until late August. Everybody ready to go. And we held Saturday sessions with principals, individual sessions with principals. It seemed like every time I looked up, Ms. Spurlock, Ms. Dooley were meeting with principals, or Ms. Sheehy was out meeting with teachers. We've been able to do this in a very short time with the help of people out in the field. A very short time. We are just crawling now. we get ready to start running. Third grade reading guarantee. Met promotion score, that means, was it 400 now? Or is it 700 now? I think it's 700. But I think it was 400, now it's 700, different tests. But in the fall of 2018, 3559 is pre-pandemic. Fall of 2022, pandemic, and then fall of 2023 for us, an increase of about 6 percentage points. So we are trending up. I would suggest in the fall of 2024, I would be challenged if we weren't significantly higher than 31, hopefully somewhere in the low 40s, mid 45s. Freshman success, we have success coaches at all the middle high schools. I saw them in a meeting the other day. We have actionable data to suggest that they are making a difference, especially in attendance and phone calls home to parents, and resiliency coordinators and mental health therapists. There's a check there, but Ms. Minor, you'd have to speak to that. I'm not. The mental health coordinator, how's that?
So we have a partnership with Children's Medical Center, and they actually provide a resiliency coordinator to address social emotional needs of all of our children. There's one in every building in the Dayton Public Schools, and we have mental health therapists available for all schools. They share, the building shares, so there's one, and they'll travel back and forth to two, so they're there at least 2 days a week. So as our principals and our teachers discover students that need extra support when
Thank you, Lisa Minor. Have a wonderful team. They fill in the gaps because I certainly don't know it all. I spoke earlier about being at my heart being a principal, and I'm scanning the room, and there's another principal that's gotten in here, Miss Mims. Where is she? There she is. You know why I missed that when you came in? Because I saw Mr. Simmons, and I said, Mr. Simmons is here with his daughter. That's what that's what happened. I missed it. I said, he's here with his child. You look so young. I mean, golly. You know, and we go way back. I know how old you are. So I apologize. High school readiness. We did a reset during Christmas break. It's been an all-out offensive in high schools since we've been back. We have really got to tighten up there and get our instructional delivery, alignment, and our focus ready there. We have a couple of checks there in terms of professional development and now that youth science, that means the science of youth. What that means, youth science means the science of youth. And we've administered that to all 7th and 8th graders. Now, why is that important? The science of you means we are asking you about who you are, how you understand yourself. And once you understand yourself and what your interests are, then we can begin to tailor academic programming for what's of interest to you, and you can begin to participate in an academic program that's of interest to you at that time. At that time. We're not suggesting that as an end-all be-all, because I can assure you, when I was a summer school student here, I never once thought about being a superintendent. So at that time, we can align pathways that are aligned to what your aptitude and interests are. And that's a really important baseline piece of data that we have for the middle school and high school. College and career readiness, we have already established career pathways and pipelines that were in existence, but we have deepened and strengthened those. And we are getting ready to have a college and career readiness symposium to align and bring together all of our college and career readiness tools, all of our people, all the things that we're doing. Full transparency, we're doing a lot of great things. There was a great article about a month ago in the Dayton News about kids from Belmont and Thurgood, guaranteed scholarships to go to Wright State, free all the way through. But what wasn't in there was, we're in a meeting with Premier Health, our largest employer. In the region, 13,000 people. And Premier Health is willing to work with us and Wright State, provide mentors for the kids through high school, through college, and they can walk right into Premier Health with a job. So we're really working this, but our college and career readiness symposium, we got to get all of this together and get it cleaned up so that it makes sense and it's clear to you, the public, and so that it's clear to the rest of the organization too. Because what I just said, I know that most people in the organization of 2,500 don't know. Most people don't know that. And it's not their fault, it's our fault. So we're going to get that symposium together, bring together all of our different personnel that work in that space, have each personnel member present on the things that they're doing, and then kind of asset map that and align those so that we can all know exactly what we're doing. So our next presentation, we'll have our college and career readiness. Like that asset mapping, we'll actually create a slide for that. So we've got some work to do there. People are working really hard and doing some great things, but alignment matters. Like these things have to be aligned. You don't want them to be duplicitous, meaning repeating things that you already even had before, or that people are already doing. Before I close, because when I close, I'm going to ask for questions, and then I'm going to ask if anybody has any questions about 2 major initiatives that we have. One I announced on Tuesday, the beginning of the development of a arts elementary school on the west side of Dayton. We already, did you get the email about Houston? Yep, so we've already got an email, and we have people wheels up, ready to go to Houston to check out some of their the best at their arts elementary schools. So we're going to travel the nation and find out what works. And again, I'm looking at operations. I promise you, we're going to plan this. We're going to take our time. We're not just going to dump it on you. Word is bond. Okay, but I promise you, we're not going to do the art school tomorrow. Word is bond. So we have people who are going to be doing some research around this. So if you want to ask questions about the West Side Arts Initiative, you can. And then also, we have a Promise Neighborhood Initiative over at Fairview, and I'll let Lisa Miner and Brooke speak to that if they choose to do so. Captain, I thought about one of our conversations, and I always think about school. When I was a principal, Sharon and Judy worked with me. I used to love staff meetings. Most of the time you don't. You're like, oh my God, it's a staff meeting. I say, this is a great time to give information, to have conversation, and also to talk about ideas and philosophy. Like, it's your only chance to see all the principals, all the teachers together at one time, once a month. I wish we had 2, 3, 4. So I was thinking about the conversations we were having about low expectations for kids in general. Low expectations for kids in general, and specifically for minority kids. So, earlier today, Lisa and I were in a meeting, and I was yawning, because I was tired. And I said, I'm tired. She says, well, that's because you're doing good work. I said, no, I'm tired because I don't go to bed. And I don't go to bed. I stay up watching stuff all the time, thinking about school and reading. And I saw this last night, and I thought about expectations for minority kids specifically. And I would add, from my research, minoritized students and students who are poor and come from a certain socioeconomic strata. And that includes all students, white, black, Hispanic, Latino, all of them. And so I thought about expectations, and I'm gonna play this clip.
Listen, about people. No thanks required, Coach. Thank you. You challenge my authority in front of the entire football team, Coach. Now, you think you're doing these boys a favor, taking them aside every time I come down and protect them from big bad bone. You cut my legs from under me. Some of the boys just don't respond well to public criticism. I tell them what they need to know, but I don't humiliate them in front of the team. Which boys learn? Which ones learn? I come down on Birch here, I don't see you cover. Come down on Sunshine, don't see you grab his hand, take him on to the side. Which boys you talking about? Now, I may be a mean cuss, but I'm the same mean cuss with everybody out there on that football field. The world give a damn about how sensitive these kids are, especially the young black kids. He ain't doing these kids a favor by patronizing. You quit with it. You quit on the front.
One of my favorite actors, and microphone. One of my favorite actors, and we want to have high expectations for all. We don't want to cripple kids. Thanks. I'm ready. Yeah.
Westwood School nurse, Dayton Public School grad, Delbar High School, RN, thank you so much. Anyway, absolutely. But 2 questions. Is the initiative for the middle schools or for elementary schools?
And we say initiative.
For the music,
Okay.
yeah, for Westwood.
So music is elementary schools. We have some complete programming and reconfiguration ideas that we're working on right now in the middle schools. In fact, I'll let you speak to some of them. Middle school program. Thank you.
I'm Sharon Goins, Director of Equity. We are thinking about small learning communities. Judy Spurlock and I have done some work with knowledge works around, spaces for middle school kids where everyone knows their names. The kids have the same teachers in common. We slow down the day to block. Is ideally what we like kids to focus on maybe 4 classes as opposed to 7. Homework, project-based learning, collaboration, and so we haven't flushed it all out, but we've used that model before and have had some success with it, and we'd like to refocus some of the energy in middle schools to that kind of space.
Thank you.
Last question.
Sure.
Well, as we all know, maybe we should, that truly our health is our wealth, and our wealth is our health. Being a school nurse, I wanted to ask a question regarding health services and school nurses and licensed school nurses within the Dayton Public Schools. What do you see the future of licensed school nurses with Dayton Public Schools being a part of that?
Thank you. You are well respected. Kids like you. That's true. I'm here. She said, no, they love me. Love me.
And I love them.
And they do. The kids love me. Let me just say this. I came from, I was gone for about 8 years. And it was a terrific time to be gone. I learned a lot. I spent some time in Boston, gave me a chance to finish my PhD. And I spent some time in North My City Schools, which is a very, very high performing school district. And they have licensed practical nurses.
No.
I mean, not
RNs.
they have RNs, and then they have an RN at each building.
Yes.
And they have RNs that have extended care as well. So that's a really important thing. Leslie Hobbs is their student services director, and she is really serious about this kind of piece around kids and health, and making sure that nursing services are supported full-time, all day, at every school. And it makes a difference. Yes, ma'am.
Sir, my son has been bullied at 2 schools. One was here, and you guys did a beautiful job here. Very transparent. Mr. Robinson, he was on it. There was no guessing at what happened. He said what happened, called me on the phone. The other school that my son's at, he was bullied, and both of them exactly identical. They waited until my son went to the bathroom with him, and they jumped him. One school had 3 kids, the other school had 4 kids that ganged up on him and jumped him in the bathroom. I had to piece it together at the other school with the teachers. All I kept on hearing from my son was, "Mom, I'm being bullied. Mom, I'm being bullied." What is it that we can do? Videos on anti-bullying. We are all different. We are all made differently. How can we communicate this to the kids in the school system across the board? So, I mean, my son doesn't even want to go to school anymore. He calls it hell.
So we don't want that for any child in Dayton Public Schools in the 12,500, and certainly that's concern. I would suggest to you, no school, nowhere nationwide wants to have kids bullied. And it is a significant thing. I think from a detailed standpoint, I'll let Ms. Spurlock speak to it, but from a global standpoint, I'll say that, well, let me go back even further, way back. There's a lady right there who we've had to close this thing down for her. Ms. Gum, when you finish, would you see her and give her the other school? And I thought that was so respectful of you. So you mentioned the school that was great. You didn't mention one that was not, and we'll thank you for that. We'll take care of that. Okay? And so that's first, her. And then I'll let Ms. Spurlock speak to you.
Certainly, we don't want students to be bullied here at school. We're actually working with the Governor and Prosecutor's Office. We just had an opportunity for them to come in and to do a program with each of our schools to talk about that with students, about bullying, and about the alternatives and things that we can do to help support our students that are being bullied and those students that are making poor choices so they can change their behavior. So we are working with that with every school. But I definitely want to speak with you after this so we can touch base on your concerns.
Thank you, Ms. Spurlock. And I would just add one other piece. That's the elementary component. We are part of our summer bridge program is peer mediation. So Judge Walter Rice is going to be working with us to have the 8th graders have peer mediation over the summer, so that we can begin to see a dramatic reduction in the number of things that are like bullying at the middle school and high school level as well. We want to take your concerns seriously. It's a nationwide issue. And so Ms. Gum is right there. But don't leave it out talking about it.
My name is Shannon Clement, and I'm a dog parent delegate in kindergarten and second grade.
Microphone up.
Sorry. And I was just wanting to know if there would be an opportunity if we have a performance art program at Belhaven, because they already have a wonderful principal and a wonderful music teacher. I was just wanting to know if there was an opportunity to have the kids have something else.
Can you repeat the question, please?
I sure can. Performing arts program at Belhaven, correct? So we have an academic team. I see most of them here. And we are preparing programming for next year. And that's a conversation that we're going to have with all the principals. So yes, it's a possibility. And the meeting that we're going to have about the West Side Art School, the first meeting in that series is going to take place at Belhaven. So lots of people can come out and talk about music and art and performance and all those things.
You can go elsewhere. I'm very excited about this idea of an arts elementary school. However,
You're excited by that?
I'm excited about that. However,
oh, I knew there was going to be. You knew there was going to be a high.
However, I remember when I was growing up, there were some programs that were canceled just before I got to that grade level. One of the things was they stopped teaching foreign language in elementary school. They stopped it until you got to 9th grade. Our music program in elementary school was recorders. I don't know if you remember what those were, those little plastic flute-like things.
You're older than me, I don't remember.
Oh, okay. Well, there are a couple critical skills that kids really need to start earlier that require things that they don't get provided. One of them is the ability to keyboard, not just write, but they actually need to learn how to type. In terms of languages, it's not just foreign languages now, but it's also computer languages and programming. For those things, they need to have a Chromebook or a laptop that they can take home and continue. We had this discussion a long time ago, and the only thing that got the Chromebooks out of the racks and into the homes was COVID. I want to make sure that all these kids have access to this technology at all levels as part of being a DPS student, and I'd like to know if that's going to happen. But the second part is, you talk about the arts and doing it in one school. I think arts need to be exposed to every child. And when it comes to music especially, I think that the proper instrument for them to learn is the piano. People who learn the piano learn to see visually the notes and the relationship between the notes, which then helps them with math. It helps them with understanding music. There's all these things. Now you can do that with a little MIDI controller with the Chromebook, or you could do it with keyboarding, keyboards in classrooms. But there's been a direct correlation in so much research between music and performance in math, and you're a math teacher, so you know that. And I know you have no musical skill, but I would like to see every elementary school have at least a piano lab, and every kid have Chromebooks that they take home. Can you talk to those things? Thank you.
I can. I'll go backwards. There's a wonderful piano lab at Kemp. I mean, amazing. And to your point about the art school, West Side, I'm glad you asked that, David. I don't want this to come across as this is at the expense of other schools. I think Board Member Smith spoke to that about how historically, not just in Dayton and other places, we create something by taking things away from other schools. That's not what this is. We want to build arts programming in all schools. I am so with you that that is critically important for the culture of any school, right? We know this to be the case from our own observations and from research. And then as it relates to also the arts and humanities and music, the earlier you start, the better. We would agree with that. And so longitudinally, as we look into the future, these are things that we talk about. We just try to figure out how we can bring them to scale in terms of actually being able to deliver on those things. So we would not disagree with any of that.
How's everybody doing?
Great.
All right. So, I'm a business owner here in Dayton. I own T-shirt things. I've had my business for 25 years now. I wasn't trying to get a clap. What I wanted to do was figure out how I could help. Like, what could me and my community of business owners do for Dayton Public Schools? You know, I'm gonna be honest, I hadn't seen any of this information before. And when I'm looking at these numbers, it makes me cringe. And we all should be feeling like that to me. It's a great idea, you know, for Chromebooks, for music, but really, the math and reading, it's gotta come up a lot. And, you know, thank goodness that you are here doing what you're doing, because I do see improvement since you came, you know. But what can I do as a business owner, along with any other business owners in this community, to get these kids up to code, or so the third graders can be reading? Because once you fall behind on reading in the third grade, you're disinterested. You like going to school and you don't know what's going on, you're going to be distracted by any little thing. So I'm just reaching out, any principal here, any staff member, or whatever, you got me. You know, you can use me as a resource. If you want to bring the kids to T-Shirt Kings as a field trip, we got a podcast studio, I got a full screen printing basement, we got a store or retail location where you guys can just bring the kids there, you know, maybe get them out. I really don't have it all together, but I'm just trying to say, just like, use us as the community for us to help, because I don't think a lot of us even understand the magnitude of what's going on. Like, we think y'all got it, you know what I mean? But I think that you guys could help us, or I think we can help you.
Thank you for your comments. You have a podcast. Am I scheduled to join it, right? Yes, I can't wait to do it. Yes, sir. I think you really hit on some really key points. The first is that you said this is start over. You said I didn't know, and that's why we're out on this community tour. We have to tell the story, right? The other piece is this is an emergency. I remember Keisha Sheehy going to the mic, and she was asked a question that, don't you think these are kind of ambitious goals? She said, this is an emergency. Yeah, they should be ambitious. And the other piece is, yes, this is I mentioned Premier Health and their 13,000 employees. We are a massive organization too. We're the third or fourth largest employer in Dayton, right? 2,400 some employees. A $250 million budget, 600 million plus all of it. And most people don't know we have a business advisory committee. In fact, board member Karen Wick is here, she chairs that. And we invite businesses in on a quarterly basis to have these type of conversations. And before I leave the podcast, I'll make sure you get the information for the next meeting. Okay. But yeah, a lot of things we do, it's about finding a way to get that information out into the public's hands so they can respond. I think the public wants to respond. I think people want us to be successful. They really do. They don't want to just complain. They actually, some people want to participate in the process of getting great. And we just have to figure out, me and the people I work with, like how we do that. And this is one form, but how do we do it another way so that we can mobilize large numbers of people in a productive way?
Hello guys, my name is Curtis Peanut Johnson, professional Peanut Johnson, and I'm one half of the Legend of Your podcast. We don't always agree, right? One thing we do agree on is we love children and we want them to be successful. My child goes to the Honorable Bill Hayden. And I saw my son go through a complete turnaround. From last year, he had a lot of issues. We worked on those together as a family and as a community and as a school. This year, my son is now a math league. You gotta know what that is, but he's a math Olympian, right? He's doing very, very well. He's literally one of the biggest of success that I can speak of. I always say God is the greatest poet ever, right? The reason why I say that is because sometimes you get put in predicaments where God just showed you that He is the great designer of all of this, right? I wasn't even expecting to see the greatest teacher, the teacher who changed my life, the superintendent. Give it up to Mrs. Lawrence for sure. So I'm not expecting that, right? And then for me to come here today to see Mr. Reeves, who was being that to my son today, right? Being that teacher that's going to change his life. And then also to give up for every educator and teacher and faculty that here because y'all hear the Bible called COVID, that nobody got to go through the history of mankind. They're going to really write books of what you guys survived through, right? And I just want to say it really takes a village, right? So last year I started an organization called Official Network of Children. We help small business get from the EI number all the business funded in a relaxed environment, really come as you want, right? So during that time I got a chance to see that community people, it's not really just about business with them, right? A lot of times we're dealing with mental problems, we're dealing with home problems, we're dealing with homeless people who want to start a business. It makes no sense to me, but sometimes they still want to start a business and they're homeless. And then you start worrying about their children. So we started Official Networking Children during the summer, and we took them to 5 different businesses on a 5-week course. We taught them how to start their own businesses. And I got a chance to see children light up and get a chance to be the leader and learn how to tie a tie, learn about decorum, how to be professional, right? And my son was one of the ones up front. So I can say a lot of that 50% I can say attribute to me just stepping up being a father. Part of that me coming in and me being a community leader. The other part was trusting the staff at Bellhead. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, CJ, I'm glad you brought that up about how we can mobilize and en masse give kids experiences. Like when I was talking about experiences, field trips is also under the umbrella of like mentoring in that space too. And I get that thing about tying a tie. My first day of teaching, I had to drive to my best friend's house. I didn't know how to tie a tie. Joey Williams, he helped me tie my tie. He showed me how to tie a tie. And so I didn't, I graduated from college by that time, obviously, and still had, that wasn't my thing. And so, yeah, those experiences are important. There's another piece, and I promise you, we didn't orchestrate this. In this role, you talk a lot about your leadership capabilities or possibilities and what you've done as a leader. But I was a teacher for a decade. A teacher. A real teacher. I've not always been a principal or a chief or a superintendent. I was a teacher. I never missed a day at work, ever. I showed up every day, ready to go. I stayed after school every day. I spent every weekend grading papers. I went to recess with kids every day, back when I could run with them. You reminded me that this has been a long journey. It hasn't always been in this space. I was a teacher, and I loved it. I thought I was going to teach for 30 years and be done with this. I was a basketball coach. I loved it. This is all Miss Carson's fault. Miss Carson, if you're watching this is your fault. It's a true story. She signed Judy Spurlock up for a master's degree in principalship and leadership, and the rest is history. I was not thinking about this. This was not on my bucket list, okay? But now that we're here, I'm going to close by saying we were great, and I was around when we were great, and I have a team that I think we can lead us back to greatness. Thanks.